Hello and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I want to ask the cards about what people have been saying about you in the past 3 months. And I have these 3 groups that you can choose from. This will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, and this will be group number 3. And so I will ask you to use your intuition and choose the group that speaks to you the most, the group that catches your eye, and that group will be your group. And if you need any more time to choose, you can just pause the video. But if you don't need any more time, then just head down to the description box below and find the timestamp for your particular group. And yeah, see you in your reading. Hello, group number 1, you chose this Jolanda Tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So, okay, group number 1, the people who will choose group number 1. Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 1? What have people been saying about them in the past 3 months? What have people been saying? I'm sensing that people have been wondering where you have been. It seems like some of you have possibly withdrawn a bit from society or from your friend group or from whatever social environment that you usually hang out in. And I think some people have been talking to each other about it, discussed it with each other, tried to figure out what made you leave or why you abandoned them. Because I feel like some people feel slightly abandoned by you, that you just ghosted them out of nowhere and stopped talking to them. But I'm also sensing that this is very one-sided. It's like these people don't realize that they also have to put in an effort as well, that it's not only your responsibility to keep the contact going, that they also have to contact you. And it also seems like they haven't been doing that, so they have been slacking on their job. But I feel like some people have this idea in their head that you abandoned them because you got tired of them, or because they weren't fun enough or exciting enough, or something, that you got bored with them or found someone else that was more exciting to hang out with. I feel like this could also, like, there could also be some family members that seem a bit left out, or feel like you neglect them, or that you're not giving them enough attention, that you're focusing too much on things that are happening in your life, that you don't have time for their problems or something. But I also feel like they rarely ask you about your problems or what's going on in your life. Like, again, it seems a bit one-sided. Like there are people in your life that seem to want a lot from you, and I don't think they realize that they are asking too much, that they are expecting too much from you, because it's like they don't realize that it needs to be kind of an exchange in some way, that it can't just be them expecting you to do everything for them and them never really giving anything in return. So with the Ace of Pentacles, there could be something like some people might be talking about you getting into some money, or that you have found some luck or fortune, or that you're building up something currently that will lead to success and financial security in the future. And I feel like some people seem to be a bit jealous of that, or not necessarily jealous, but it's like they don't really, they don't seem very happy on your behalf. Like if this is, like, I'm kind of returning to the family member or family members that seem to crave a lot of attention from you. This could also be a friend, but I feel like there are people who crave a lot of attention, and you might not have a lot of attention to give currently because you're working on something that will lead to financial stability in the future. So you have to kind of put all your effort and time into it because you're trying to grow something from the ground up, and that's probably a big task that's been very time consuming. And I think some people just feel like you should abandon that and give them all the attention that they are craving instead of working on doing this thing that's gonna help you in the future. And I even feel like some people see it as a bit selfish that you're focusing on something that has to do with your career. But I feel like it's not coming from a bad place necessarily. It's more that these people they just need a lot, and they expect it from you, maybe because they don't really know who else to turn to, and so they expect you to solve their problems. And it's because they have problems. These people have problems, and they see you as their best bet to get those problems out of the way. And so they turn to you out of, well, because they want to be saved, because they want someone to rescue them from whatever they are dealing with, and that doesn't make them a bad them bad people, or that doesn't but it seems like they don't really realize the toll it's taking on you. And how it's better to actually give you some space right now so that you can work on yourself, so that you can build yourself and your career and everything that's going on in your life up, so that you can come to a place where you can actually have the time to help them. But it needs to kind of be this process, and I feel like there are just people around you that are not very patient and want your attention right now, right here, and they want you to like drop everything and just run and help them every time they have a problem. Also, like with this card here, like there's it's of course also a bit damaged, and I feel like you give and you give and you give, and it is maybe it might be kind of sabotaging your ability to continue giving. That that people expect so much from you that it's like for instance, if you're borrowing people money because maybe some of your family members might be in trouble, and so they turn to you for money. And if you keep giving them money every month because they are always screwed, you will end up being poor, and then you can't help them anymore. And then, like, there's really no, like, it's good to set boundaries for these people, especially those people around you that don't seem to realize this, the logic behind not giving them everything they ask for, because then you will run out of money, and then you're just both poor, and what's the point in that? Like, so I'm also getting that there could be some like, I feel like some people feel like you've ghosted them and feel like you just stopped talking to them, or like stopped being there, stopped giving them attention. And these people are a bit butthurt because they don't really realize what's actually the reason behind you withdrawing from them. And I think it might be because you haven't really made that clear to them. And maybe you should. Because I feel like some people don't really realize that you're just tired of them constantly asking you for stuff. And if you made that clear to them, I think they I don't think they would necessarily look inwards and understand what they did wrong, but at least they would have an explanation to why you kind of stopped caring for them, because it became too much and it just got a bit, yeah. And then I feel like there's also other people around you that are not craving a lot from you. And I think these people who are not craving a lot of attention from you, not constantly asking you to do stuff for them, these people seem to also be a bit annoyed with you because they feel like they are not getting the attention that these other more demanding people are getting. That you're giving these deadbeats too much of your effort, and it's taking away attention from the people who actually just want the best for you. And I feel like there are some people in your life who feel like the only way to get your attention is to be a horrible, annoying person, because that seems to be the type of person you give the most attention to, is the people who are constantly demanding stuff from you, constantly up in your face, making like outrageous like demands, taking advantage of you, abusing your kindness, and then there are then the other people in your life who don't abuse your kindness. They are not getting that much kindness from you because you don't have a lot of time for them. I also feel like some people are a bit tired of like the fact that when you actually have time for some of your most dearest friends in your life, when you have time for them, when you go to a cafe with them or something, it seems like a lot of the conversations are actually about these low-life people that you have allowed into your life, and that the conversation often go to the bad seeds that you actually shouldn't be giving any time at all, because they are not really an asset in your life. So I just feel like some people want you to prioritize the good ones, the friends and family members in your life that are actually not asking anything from you, but just want to spend time with you on your terms. And I feel like there are some people like that in your life. But yeah. I feel like also there's like the good ones, the good friends you have in your life. I feel like they would wish that you had more confidence in yourself and believed that you deserve more in your life and from the people around you, so that you would stop allowing people to come in and sabotage your life, and be more be better at like filtering out the bad ones, and not trying to rescue them. I don't know if you have a tendency to want to rescue some people, but it seems like some people in your friend group or in your family have that idea of you, or talk about you being someone with maybe a savior complex, or like that you take pity on people that might not deserve your pity because they are just not gonna change no matter what you do. So yeah, with the Ten of Swords reversed, I feel like some people might be talking about you being in some state of healing. That you're maybe withdrawn from your friends, or from school, or from work, because you're healing from something that happened in your life. And I feel like some of the people around you just want you to focus on yourself, focus on your healing. Don't let anyone trouble you with their problems in this delicate time, because this time is about you, and you should focus on yourself. And so I feel like that's the good ones in your life. I feel like there are actually quite a few good ones in your life who just really want you to just do what's best for you. Do what's going to make you happy, what's going to make you grow as a person. But there's also some people in your life who feel like you should, of course, help them instead of healing yourself. You should heal them, and again, I feel like that's just not people you deserve to be around. And I agree that maybe you should have a bouncer at the door who can kind of sort it out. That there's certain people that are gonna be beneficial for your life, and there are certain people that are just gonna keep on just putting you down and make you feel like shit, and make you feel like whatever you do, it's never gonna be good enough. And it's easy to get rid of those. Because like you can just tell that like if there are people in your life that just demand a lot from you and it's never good enough, then it might be a good time to take that conversation with them and tell them that like if it's never good enough, then that person might have to find someone else to do their biddings and to do these things that they demand of you, because they might be able to do it right, do it perfect in the way that they want it to be done, because that's clearly not you. And then why is that person even asking you in the first place if you can't do it right? So yeah, protect yourself, protect your heart. So yeah, but what else are people saying about you? Group number 1. I'm also getting that you should stop being a a people pleaser. Stop demand the same from people that you demand from yourself, or put people up to the same standards that you put yourself up to, because I think you have very high standards for yourself. You might be a perfectionist. You might feel like you have to do everything right, even in social things. Like you want to always do right by people. You don't want to upset anyone. You don't want to have any misunderstandings. And you might have a tendency to kind of internalize everything that's happening and kind of ask yourself, like whenever you're in trouble, whenever you get in some kind of argument, you might ask yourself, why did that happen? Why did I allow that to happen? What could I have done differently so that argument did not escalate in the way it did? But you're like, it's not only you. You're not the only one who is making these things happen. Like there are two people or more who are accountable for a situation to escalate, and it's a team play. It's and asking yourself what you could have done differently. It's putting all the responsibility on you and not actually keeping other people accountable for their actions as well. And you should do that, because I feel like you let people get away with stuff, and maybe they shouldn't. Maybe you should be more I don't know. With a Chariot, I think people talk about you being very honorable. Like people have respect for you. People honor the way you deal with stuff, even though they don't agree with you when you are giving people too much, like giving people too much space to kind of do whatever they want and not hold them accountable, not setting up boundaries for people. Then I think people feel like you should probably protect yourself more. But mostly I think people have a lot of respect for the fact that you can actually keep up with people, because many people just wouldn't. Many people see you being so patient with other people, where they think to themselves that, like, if they were in your shoes, they would have run for the hills a long time ago. They wouldn't have put up with it. They would have caved and just walked away. So that is a strength, but it's kind of a not the, like, it shows strength. It shows that you have this endurance, but is it a smart one, or is it a good one for you? It might be good for everybody else. Of course, it's nice for those people that they get second chances. It feels nice for them. They probably look at you as a saint because you don't give up on them and stuff like that. But those you're not saving, the people who are just witnessing you save others, they don't see it necessarily as a strength. They see it more as you kind of being self-sacrificing, and that you should focus on yourself and be selfish for once, and that you can choose also. You can choose your family. You're not stuck with with your family. You can make your own, find another one, find your soul family. Like if your family, if it's your family that's kind of putting you through all these problems, you have the right to just walk away. You don't have to be stuck with them forever if they keep making you unhappy. But with the star reversed, I think with this card, you can see it's a polar bear, and polar bears are adaptive, or they are white because they adapted to their environment. And when it's reversed, I feel like people see you as someone who is adaptive, but maybe to the point where it's not actually helping you. It's more, well, it's more helping others. Being like not reacting to your environment, not reacting to people around you who are putting you in bad positions, putting you in awkward situations. And like if you don't react to that, if you don't say to that person that you don't like them doing that, or that that's not something you want to put up with, then you're adapting, but you're not adapting for your own survival. You're adapting for the other person's survival. You're making the other person's life easier for them while making it harder on you. And adaptation should only, or should mostly exist if it's making your life easier. Then it's good to adapt to your environment. But if it's making it harder, then then it might just be better to just stand up for yourself, remember who you are and what you believe in, and that it's good enough. I feel like there might be someone in your life who's constantly putting you down and telling you that whatever you believe in is stupid, or it's not true, or that you're insane for believing in something, or and like if you react by saying, oh yeah, that's also a bit silly, I guess. I don't know if you do that, but maybe you do it sometimes when you're around one particular person. And I think we all have that one person in our life where there's just something about their energy that just makes you forget what you stand for and just adapt to their, like, I have that problem too with someone in my family. Like, it's like every time I have a conversation with that person, I end up agreeing with them about the most stupid stuff. Like, and I don't, and I'm not usually that type of person. I'm usually very rebellious, actually. Like, I like being the devil's advocate, and I like to kind of have the opposite opinion like all the time. Like, I really enjoy that. I think to the point where it's kind of a guilty pleasure for me. But there's something about this person's dominant energy that just, like, I can't really disagree with this person for whatever reason. And it's not because this person is, like, I don't know what it is. I can't really put a finger on what it is about this person that just, like, it's not that this person is necessarily intimidating, but I know that other people feel the same way around this particular person. So it's, but so there are just people like that, and there's no shame in kind of feeling like that around, like, one person or two people or in our life. Like, it's very normal to have that one person that you just can't disagree with because there's something about their energy that just makes you, I don't know. But maybe, like, if you have that type of person in your life, minimizing the amount of time you spend with that person could be helpful, because it might just be impossible to actually get to the point where you can actually say your true opinion to that person and disagree with that person in a comfortable way where it feels natural. Like, it might just be impossible to get to that point for whatever reason, and instead of constantly putting yourself down or like making yourself feel better, feel worse about the fact that you're not able to do this, instead of, like, constantly analyzing yourself and asking yourself, like, why can't I just speak my mind to this person? Why am I so weak? Why am I so, like, why do I get so soft when I'm around this person? Why can't I just cut through and be more like I usually am, or something like that? But instead of constantly internalizing it and make it like, what's wrong with you for being this way, you could, for instance, ask yourself, what's wrong with that person? What is it about that person? Maybe try to figure out what it is that person is doing that makes you react in that way. But a better solution is maybe to just walk away and be around people who you can be yourself around. Make your own social circle with only with the people that makes you feel like you're comfortable with yourself, being yourself, and not feeling like you have to play a role or be different in order to fit in, or because I think that you could find the right people. You might just be surrounded by the wrong people, and I think you have people around you who are actually very great, and that you can actually be yourself around. And it's just about prioritizing these people and make have more contact with them, talk to them more, and focus more of your energy on the good ones instead of the bad ones. Yeah. But I think that's all I have for you, group number 1. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And yeah, have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose this Medicine Woman tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So, group number 2, the people who will choose group number 2, Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 2? What have people been saying about group number 2 in the past 3 months? I am sensing that it's something like I feel like there's something about an exchange, or exchange and or I don't know if you're an exchange student, or I'm just sensing some kind of exchange that people are talking about. I'm also sensing something about language learning, or that you have been picking up on some kind of skill lately, that you've been focusing on learning something, learning a language, or learning how to do something, taking some courses in something that I think you have been very passionate about. That I'm also sensing something about adventure, that you've been on some kind of adventure, or that you're a very adventurous person, or that you like to learn new things, like to maybe jump a bit from one thing to the other quite quickly. But that could be something. Some people are saying that you get these interests, and then you become really, really passionate about them for like 3 months, and then you get a new one, and then you dedicate your whole life to that interest for 3 months, and then you find something new, and it, like, the circle goes on and on. And but I feel like this has also gotten you to experience a lot of interesting things, a lot of things that many people haven't experienced, and so I feel like a lot of people have a lot of respect for you, because you just go and, like, you have an idea, then you just do it. Like, you don't overthink things. Like, if some opportunity presents itself, you're gonna try, like, and I think I think people feel like you're very good at trying new things, and that you're not afraid of starting something new, being the new kid in school or in a class, or like go traveling where like maybe you're very good at like traveling alone and just sleep in like hostels with a lot of people in this same room, and like sharing rooms with people, being open to those types of experiences that maybe other people would be hesitant to do because they are afraid of like strangers, like the stranger danger stuff, like where I feel like other people see you as courageous and brave, that you're not that you're just better at like with the Justice card, it says balance also in I feel like people see you as very balanced, very calm in yourself. You don't get scared off easily. You don't let small things get to you. Like you could also be studying something that has to do with the justice system, and maybe you have recently started doing that, and so maybe that's something you've done in the past 3 months, and so it's something rather new that people are talking about. But I also feel like people see you as very independent with this card here. Like there are two people who are of the older generation, and they are like holding this this crystal bowl or something, and holding it up, but in this there's like no one there, like it's just a plain field, and how I would interpret this card like right now is that many people around you are possibly still kind of dependent on their parents, whereas you're not. You're more focused on doing things on your own, not having to rely on someone else, but that maybe you're also a bit alone in the world because of this mentality, that you're maybe a bit too caught up in being independent, that you're not actually asking anyone for help, and in that way you might not actually be getting some social stuff out of it, like if you're not dependent on your parents, you might have gone the other way, like done the complete opposite and become so independent on them that you rarely see them at all. Like you rarely visit them, you rarely speak to them, because you have completely cut contact in some way, or So I feel like maybe some of your family members, maybe your parents, feel, and maybe this is something they have been talking about in the last 3 months, that they would want you to maybe ask them for more, ask them to help you with stuff, because at least then they would be able to see you and maybe you have siblings who are constantly asking your parents for help with a lot of things, and so they keep helping them, and they might, so your parents might be very busy with your other siblings, painting their houses or rearranging the furniture, even though they are old, or but it's like you might see that as something bad, something that, like, you might be a bit annoyed with your siblings because they are demanding too much of your parents, and that they shouldn't be doing that they should be doing these things on their own, and or find someone who can do it for them, instead of constantly putting that responsibility on your parents, who should just be either retired or have a life where they don't have to be bothered with stuff like that. But I feel like your parents might not see it in the same way. I don't think they see it as your siblings taking advantage of them. I think they just feel like when they help their children, when they are parenting, and that also means that they get something out of it. I think they see it as them maybe showing their love really through doing these tasks. That is a way for them to show their love and care and support to their children. When their children ask them for help, they feel like they can actually contribute, and that they are a part of their life. And I think they feel like with you, when you're not actually asking for anything, you get left out, and they forget about you in a sense. And instead of them kind of giving you that attention without you actually asking for anything, they just would rather want you to do the same as your siblings are doing, and just demand stuff from them, instead of them having to contact you and ask you if you want something or need something, or like they would just want you to just do it in the same way as your siblings are doing it. Because that's the way they know, that's the way they are most comfortable with. For some reason, it seems like that's like, to me, I completely agree with you that it's, to me it sounds like your siblings are kind of taking advantage of your parents, but I can kind of see it from your parents' perspective as well, that they want to be needed, they want to have some kind of purpose, and that they are getting that purpose when they get a call from either one of your siblings that asking them if they can come help them with caring for their children, or babysitting, or painting the house or something. They feel like, oh, then I have a purpose. Now my life is more fulfilled, because now I have something to live for. It's I don't know. I think it has much to do with feeling needed, feeling like somebody needs me right now. So, and I think that it might be a feeling that makes them feel very good. And so if they had to ask you if you need something, then it's more, it would make them feel like they need that more than you need it. Like if they have to ask you if you, like they would rather want you to come ask them, because then they feel like it's actually truly something that's coming from you. Yeah. I feel like also, I think your parents, this could also be your grandparents, if your grandparents are a big part of your life and your siblings' life. But I feel like there are just seniors in your life who feel like you are maybe being too focused on them, on their well-being, that on what's protecting them, and that they feel like you shouldn't be protecting them. You shouldn't be focused on what they can and can't do. You shouldn't worry about them. That they feel a bit tired of you worrying, because it's just, I don't know, it just makes them feel uncomfortable that you keep checking in on how they are doing, instead where maybe it's because they have lived their whole life being kind of at service to others, and so when they suddenly are the victim, or the small fragile being that needs to be taken care of, it kind of makes them feel like it's condescending in a way, that they want to be the one who can help everybody else, instead of and they know it's coming from a very good place, that you're just having empathy for them, and that you're checking in because you're worried about them, and you're worried that they are not taking care of themselves and putting up boundaries for themselves, and that they are constantly being at service to others, and that it's killing them that they are constantly doing that. And they know that it's coming from a very good place, and that it's just you being compassionate. But it's still something that it bothers them, because they don't like being the child, I think. And this could be your parents, like your parents raised you, and you were the child throughout your childhood, and they treated you as a child. And now when you're an adult, I think they feel like you're babying them, that the roles have reversed, and that now they are the child who needs to be protected, and I don't think they like it. They don't like being the one who needs to be taken care of, and so they constantly I feel like many of them like, and I am sensing that in your family there might have happened something, maybe an accident, or maybe one of your parents broke a bone, or broke their back, or something that made them not physically available in the same way as they were before. And I think coping with that has been really hard for either one of your parents. If one of your parents have suffered from something like that, then like it's been hard to cope with being the one who needs to be taken care of. And I think you give this person special treatment because you feel like that's the right thing to do, and it's the most natural thing for you to be that way, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I feel like it has caused some jealousy within the sibling group if you have other siblings, because I feel like you have started acting differently towards the parent, the one of your parents that has suffered something and is not physically on top of things. And your other siblings were maybe watchful in the beginning, but now they are just like they were before, demanding your parents to keep doing physical stuff for them, keep being there and for them in the same way as they were before the accident or before the whatever. And I think this has maybe made some like split within the sibling group where you feel like they are taking advantage, you're the only one who's not taking advantage. But in the same, like at the same time, it's like they are getting all the attention while you're kind of getting left out just because you're doing the right thing. But truly, I think your parents do kind of favor your other siblings currently, because mostly because they are not treating them differently. And I know it's kind of unfair, but it's like they enjoy to spend time with them more than they enjoy spending time with you at the moment, because you keep reminding them what they can't do, while the others are expecting them to be able to do things that they actually can't do, but it's kind of nice to know that they think they can. And like, because it makes them feel a bit normal and feel like, oh, well, it's like old times. It's nothing has changed. Everything is the same. And then, but they are not. But it's kind of this illusion, and sometimes an illusion is very, very powerful. And you can fall in love with that, and you can become really, really tied up with it and addicted to it, to the point where you just don't want it to go away. So you keep putting your energy in the people who are demanding too much from you, more than you can actually give. But it's nice to feel like, well, everything is normal, everything is like it was. And so if you feel like you're being left out, or that your parents are giving your other siblings more attention, it could be just because of that. And it doesn't have anything to do with you personally. It has something to do with them feeling more needed, feeling like everything is the same, and feeling like people expect things from them, and that they are not the baby, that they are the parent, that they are that they can do stuff. And yeah. With the Ten of Swords, I think there might be there might have, for some of you, someone might have passed away recently, and that might have put a toll on the family. But but it could also just be the accident that was kind of near death experience. So it's kind of a big thing. It's kind of this thing that keeps lingering in the air. But it's like it seems like it's still a thing where like people talk about it, but they don't talk to you about it, and they don't talk to the family about it. Like people around the family. Like if this happened within the family, I feel like people who are friends of the family, they kind of don't want to talk about it with you guys, but they kind of talk about it a lot behind your back, like not directly to you, but but it's still a topic that is on people's minds all the time, and they talk about it in yeah. But it's also like, as I said, like in the beginning, I talked about you being very adventurous and people seeing you as someone who likes to try new things, likes to someone who gets all these crazy ideas and then like just do it. Like maybe you had an idea in the past of becoming an au pair or an exchange student or something, and then you just did it, and then you just you didn't overthink it, you just did it because it seemed like fun and you wanted to try something new. And so maybe you have tried a lot of different things in the past, and maybe in the last 3 months you might have been less interested in trying new stuff, and maybe people are a bit worried that the adventurous side of you might have gone away a bit, that it's a bit serious right now, like you're more focused on living life in a serious way, taking life seriously, making steps to actually, like the right steps. Like maybe you started law, maybe you went to law school because you felt like that you needed to do something that's correct, like the right way to do things, like get an education, and like a good one, and like a serious one, and leave behind all the creative stuff that you might have been doing in the past years, and focus on something more solid. And maybe some people feel like it's not really you, that you're more this adventurous person who needs to try everything at least once in your life, and you need to travel the world, and you need to get all the experiences that you've always been so hungry to get. With the Sun card, it says rebirth. I do think people see that, like in the past 3 months, that you have gone through some stages of grief, or like that you are maybe getting the healing and getting to the point where you can leave it behind, whatever happened in your life that might have made you more serious, more focused on like I don't know. But that could also be something about children. So some people might be talking about you, that you need to maybe start getting a family, or that maybe you have a family, or maybe you have just recently become a mother. But if you haven't, then I think people might be talking about like when you're gonna form a family, when you're gonna get pregnant, and that maybe you should start doing that. Or that maybe that could be a solution to some of the problems that you're facing currently. I don't know how that would be a solution, but there could be something that, like some kind of problem that you have, maybe with work or something, that somehow one of your family members or someone close to you might have been like thinking of the idea like of making a childbirth a solution. Like if you're maybe studying, and maybe you're kind of getting a bit tired of it, or that you don't have enough time left to finish your education or something. There might be some kind of loophole that if you got pregnant and got on maternity leave or something, then you could maybe prolong your education or your stay. Like if you're living in a foreign country, maybe someone close to you have been talking about that maybe getting pregnant is the only solution to staying in the country, and maybe it's a good one, and maybe it's a good way to kind of be able to prolong the visa or something. I don't know, but I feel like it's a very specific conversation that I'm picking up on, that someone said something about that being a smart way to stay in the country if you're tied to the country, because if you give birth to a child in one country, there could be something about you you would have ties to the country through the child or something. I don't know. So, but I'm gonna shuffle a bit more, so just to know more about what people have been talking about. You, group number 2. 9 of bowls, which is 9 of cups. I think people have been talking about you, maybe well, it might have something to do with traveling, that you either need to get home or need to go out to like if you're thinking of moving to a different country. I think people want you to take that step. If you are currently living in a country, I feel like some people, maybe your closest family members or some, would like to have you come back to them, or travel back to your home country, or that you maybe would be happier if you got united with the rest of your family, or maybe not your close family. Maybe you live with your close family in a country right now, but maybe the extended family is living in another country, and maybe the extended family would like you to just come back and be with them. Also, like I feel like maybe you have chosen to go abroad, to get your education, and maybe you have fallen in love with the country that you are an exchange student in, or something like that, and maybe you have even like thought of the idea of maybe staying in the country. Maybe you have found a boyfriend or a girlfriend in the country, and maybe you feel like, well, you could maybe see yourself in living in that country. But I feel like maybe your family wants you to kind of get rid of that idea and just come back, and the purpose of the stay was to get the education and get the qualifications, and that was it. So that was what they signed up for. That was the agreement they made with you when they allowed you to move out of the country to a foreign country. I feel like they did not sign up for you falling in love with someone in that country, or something like that. That was not the agreement or something. I don't know. But I feel like people are joking about it also. People are being serious about it, but some people are also kind of joking about it. That you broke the seal, or I don't know. Like it broke some kind of agreement. But in where it's not like they are like being mad at you, but kind of joking around about it, or I don't know. But they still want you to. I feel like there are people who want you to just come home. So yeah. But I think that's all I have for you. Group number 2. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to book one, and have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose this Tarot Cats tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle these cards for you. So, okay, I'm gonna do the channeling now. Group number 3, the people who will choose group number 3. What are people saying about group number 3? What are people saying about group number 3? Or what have they been saying in the last 3 months? I feel like people have talked very positively about you. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of negative stuff. It's more like people have respect for you, especially something that you have achieved. I feel like something you did that is very honorable, something you accomplished, and I feel like people are talking about that. It could be something you accomplished in the past, but people are still talking about it, that it was a big achievement, that you should be prouder of yourself, or that you should maybe be more flashy about it. It seems like you could have done something in the past, but then you haven't really talked about it since, or you haven't really used it for anything, or but it seems like people around you, maybe especially your family, would like you to brag more about it, or be more open about it. Maybe even put this is a bit silly, but I feel like I feel like your family members, or maybe your parents, would want you to put something on Facebook that you did. It's very specific, but like if you finished an education or something, you might not have put that on your Facebook profile because maybe you felt like it really didn't matter to have it there, like that it wasn't that important that everybody knows that you did that. But I feel like your parents would want you to show it more to the world that you did that, or that you should I don't know. But I feel like people also find you very funny. I feel like especially your friends, they talk a lot about like I feel like they share some of the jokes that you've made, like in the and I also feel like your friends like to talk to you, talk about you to people who don't know you, like strangers, like talk about what you said, who you are. I also feel like some people like to brag about knowing you. So I don't know if you've achieved something really great or something, something that might be kind of public, something that people know about. So maybe you have, yeah. But so yeah, I feel like people brag about you to others behind your back, and brag about knowing you, brag about the fact that they went to high school with you or something. Even if you haven't spoken to them for a long time, it's like they kind of still talk about the fact that they knew you. They sat next to you in school or something. It's so I feel like some of you have really possibly achieved something very big. So that's cool. Maybe you have a big following on social media or something. And maybe that's also something your family doesn't like, or your parents don't like, that maybe you have a big following, maybe on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, but then your Facebook profile, like on your Facebook profile, you don't mention it anywhere. It kind of looks like you're unemployed or something, but you're not. But maybe you just don't like to have it on your personal, private Facebook account, because you don't feel like that's something that, like, you don't want to brag about that. Maybe you're also a very humble person, and maybe some people in your life don't like that, because especially if your parents always like wanted you to achieve something big and were like I want to say tiger mom, or but more like just maybe your parents were very like expected you to do big things, like from you were like 4 years old. You were being forced in one direction, or forced to do something great, and then like when you finally achieved something great, you're not even bragging about it. Like, what was the point? And like, I don't know, but I feel like many people feel like you have earned bragging rights, but you're not using your you're not. You should be bragging more. That's just, it seems like it's a theme here. That you're being too humble, and maybe you even do that sometimes. Like if you go to family events, and meet your family members, or from your extended family that you haven't met for a long time. When you meet them, you might introduce yourself and tell them that you're unemployed, which drives your parents crazy because you're not. But maybe that's also a gimmick that you do, like just to kind of piss your parents off. But they are not fond of it, though. They don't find it very funny, though. I'm gonna shuffle the cards and see what people have to say. Like maybe you went to Harvard or Oxford University or something, and then like you don't even put it on your Facebook profile, and that's something like, if you've done that, then I feel like your parents are really, really annoyed with that. Like, why not? Like, yeah. But I'm gonna shuffle. So what are people saying about group number 3? 3 of Cups reversed. So I feel like people have maybe been saying in the past 3 months that you're not as much of a party person as you used to be, that you might have withdrawn a bit from the social stuff, from your friends. Maybe you used to go partying quite frequently in the past, but maybe you have been a bit busy in the past 3 months, and so it might not have been on your on top of your priority list. I am feeling like some people have been saying that you're not as fun now as you were in the past, but I feel like it's mostly tied up to the fact that you might not be partying that much. So it's not that you're not as funny as you were before, it's just that you're not really in the scene where you used to be very funny. Like maybe you also quit drinking, and maybe people feel like, oh, you got boring after you stopped drinking or something. And well, don't take that personally, because it's very likely just tied up in their own insecurities about maybe partying too much, and then when someone is like quitting that and choosing a more serious life, or choosing to do things, be more productive, and then it makes them feel bad about them kind of wasting their time on stuff like that. So but I feel like there might be something, like if you achieved something that has to do with intelligence, or like your like some kind of intellectual pursuit, some kind of test, or some kind of like getting a really high grade on a very difficult exam, or some kind of achievement where you did very, very good, and it was because of your brilliance, then I feel like something might have changed between you and some of the friends that you had in the past, because I feel like they might see you now as like this person who did really great on some test, and that now that is what's defining you, and maybe they also feel like a bit intimidated, or feel like, well, before they didn't really realize how smart you were, maybe because you're very good at just being very humble, and maybe you're also very funny, and maybe you don't really talk about like smart stuff, like you don't put that into any conversation that you have. Like you don't brag about things when you talk to people. You just and maybe you also take yourself very, like, you don't take yourself seriously, and you might joke around and make stupid jokes and say silly stuff, and the friends that you had in the past, or maybe not in the past but before the past 3 months, they might have thought you were like this jokester type, someone who's not really taking things seriously, maybe not the smartest. Like I feel like some might have misinterpreted or misunderstood you, misjudged you to be a bit like funny, goofy, not the smartest, but very enjoyable to be around. When they then realized that you're actually super duper smart, and did much better than them on some test or something changed. I think they realized that they might not have known everything about you back then. Also maybe that's not what they signed up for. That they wanted like this goofy, half-smart friend. They didn't want some kind of Mensa geek in the friend group, because they want to be able to say a lot of stupid stuff without getting judged for it. And it might just be their own insecurities, their own feelings of not being good enough, and that maybe if they talk to you and now they know that you're very smart, it puts a lot of pressure on them, that now they can't joke about certain things. And there could also be something other than that. Like, for instance, if you told your friend group that you're a homosexual, and they didn't know that in the beginning, that might also have changed something for them, because now they feel like, now they can't make jokes about homosexuals anymore. Like, now they have to watch what they say around you, because you could maybe take it the wrong way or something. Like, I think there might just have been something that kind of changed the whole dynamic in the relationship, or the friendship, but it's not about you, it's about them. I'm gonna shuffle some more. Okay, so with 8 of Cups, I feel like some people might feel a bit abandoned by you, that especially if you achieved something or did really good on a test, or did something, or got some kind of recognition from either a teacher or someone higher up in the hierarchy or something. If something like that happened to you, there might be some friends in your friend group that feels like things have that not only are they a bit awkward around you, but they also might feel like you look down on them now, that you have chosen some other people who are cooler or funnier or smarter than them, and that now they are yesterday's news, and that they are not interesting enough for you currently, and maybe they also feel like there's like it's like raining a bit down your nose, and then like you're kind of putting your nose up at them, and maybe not really. Maybe it's also because of something they did, and maybe it has nothing to do with this big achievement or big recognition thing that you have had, or this big following on social media that you suddenly got or something. Like maybe it has nothing to do with that, even though they feel like that is the reason why you're looking down on them now. But it might just be something they said that might have made you withdraw from them. Like maybe they made a very, very unfortunate joke that really showed their colors, or like maybe they made a rape joke or something that made you feel like, well, I don't like, I'm not gonna get along very nicely with these people because they are clearly not very well in tune with what's going on in the world, and so maybe it was something that made you kind of find some people that you were more in tune with, and but yeah, but I'm gonna shuffle some more cards about what people are saying about you. Group number 3. 3 of Wands. People might be saying that you're looking for something else. Like you're constantly kind of maybe people feel like you're looking for something different than them. That maybe sometimes when you are talking to maybe some of your friends or your family members, that you're maybe not completely present in the conversation. I feel like there might be some people around you that have been nagging about this to each other, that you're not present, that you're constantly thinking about something else and not really listening. And it might just be because they are a bit boring though. Like maybe you have had conversations with some people in your life that you're getting kind of tired of, and you might have just spaced out from certain conversations because it was just too boring, and you were maybe your mind was just a bit more interesting, and so you just started daydreaming because to find something better to really, and like some people, I feel like you are a very curious person though. I think this doesn't happen a lot for you. I think you are very present in conversations with people because you seem to be a very interested person. Like you're very fascinated by people. You're very curious to know people and hear their stories, and you get really invested in people's stories. So I feel like you're a very good listener. So I feel like the fact that some people are criticizing you for not being a good enough listener says more about them, because that must mean that they have been very, very boring. Because and I feel like you have a high tolerance for boring, because I feel like some of you are in a field that is considered kind of boring to most people. Like you might be studying something that many people would like think would get like really like many people probably consider it kind of boring. Like it could be something like some of you could be studying like geology. Not that it's boring, but it might be boring to some, or chemistry or something, some kind of something in the university that might just not have the best reputation for being like the most exciting thing in the world. So like so I feel like boring is something you can actually deal with. But and you have a lot of patience, but there might just be some people in your life where your patience is just used up. Like it's just too boring. And that's fair. Like I don't know. But yeah, these people might feel like you're constantly thinking or either daydreaming or looking at your phone, or that you're constantly looking for someone else to talk to that's more interesting than them. And maybe that's true though. Like maybe you are. Like if you go to a party and you end up stuck with this particular person, maybe that is just not very interesting, you might have a tendency to kind of hope that someone more fun or just someone else, like just someone comes along and you can talk to them instead. Like so this, and yeah, but yeah, this person might feel a bit butthurt, and they might have actually picked up on you not really finding them that fascinating company, and but they are not really looking inwards either. Like it's not like they are thinking like, oh, maybe I'm just so boring, and maybe I need to be a bit more fun to be around. But again, like maybe this is because that person just can't really just become more fun. Like some people are just not very well, sometimes people just don't click, and maybe you two just don't click, and for some reason this person just keeps pushing it in order to, like, in hopes that it actually that you two could actually hit it off. And maybe this person just has too much hope for that, because maybe it would be okay to kind of just accept that, okay, not everybody will naturally like each other, because some people just don't have the same sort of like are not just some people are just not clicking, and it's doesn't really help any of you that it's kept alive, like unnaturally alive. But yeah, but I'm gonna shuffle some more and see what people are saying about you. Group number 3. Yeah, I feel like I heard something about forced alliance. So I feel like there might be something, like maybe the reason why you kind of have to be around this person, even though you're not clicking, and it's kind of bothersome for both of you that you're forcing this relationship, could be because it is a forced relationship, that you are kind of stuck with each other. So maybe this is someone you're in a team with, or working with, or studying with for a project that you have to work together, and you can't choose someone else to work with because it has to be that person. Because that person is the only one who has the same interest, or wants to do the same project as you, and so maybe you just have to be with that person and listen to them, and so it may be a forced alliance where you have to keep the peace because you have a job that needs to be done, but you will never become friends, but you have to kind of find ways to tolerate each other. And maybe this person also kind of knows that that they are not your favorite person, and maybe I think this person has respect for you, but I also feel like this person doesn't, like, they probably would have chosen someone else also if they had the choice. So I think it goes both ways, kind of, but yeah. I'm gonna shuffle a bit, so what are people saying about group number 3? But I feel like people have a lot of respect for you. You are in very high demand. Like people like to, like people would like to be. Usually, people kind of stand in line to actually work with you. Like, so this person should like. But I feel like this person is happy to be in this forced alliance with you, but they also just feel like you don't like them, and so that is kind of hard for them. And I feel like this person also has heard that from other people, that, oh, they should be so happy to get the opportunity to work with you. I feel like that's something people have said, that they should be happy. But they don't feel happy because it's and maybe you should be a bit nicer to this person, even though I understand why it's kind of hard when we're facing someone who's completely opposite than us, and just not I don't know. With the Queen of Swords reversed, well, I feel like some people might see you as a slightly mean, or like that. I don't think you want to be, and I don't think it's and I don't think that's your. But I feel like you have something that you can do. You're either very smart, or you have some kind of skill that only you can do, and so you're very good at it, and so you're kind of very high up, especially on the list of people in your field who can do that thing that you can do very brilliantly. So you have some kind of talent that really puts you on top of the food chain. Like people, so people look up to you. People kind of want to work with you because you're so great. But it seems like some people. So, some people might feel like you're not very sensitive to others, and sometimes it's just all about the work. Like if you have to do something, then you focus on work alone. Like if you're working or if you're studying, or if you're doing a project, or if you're doing, then like you're only focused on the work part, finishing the work, doing the best job, making it perfect, and that is your only goal, and you want to do it as efficiently as you can, without wasting too much time on storytelling, jokes, funny stuff, small talk, practical jokes, pranks, like that sort of thing might just be something that kind of annoys you if people get into that sort of stuff when there's something that needs to be done. And so maybe some people might see you as someone who's more work and no play at all, like you have zero tolerance for play, like you just want to do the job. And I think many people around you like to do other stuff and not only work. And I think that makes it, that's one of the reasons why they might see you as a bit mean, is because when people around you start doing their shenanigans and stuff like that, then you might get kind of like short with them. And then they see you as a bit bitchy because you don't allow them to do silly stuff when they are supposed to be working. So I think they see you as a bit cold, a bit too serious sometimes. And maybe you weren't that serious before, so maybe it's something that kind of has escalated over time, your focus and motivation and seriousness. It could be because you're like, okay, this is very specific for a few of you, and so for the rest of you, just ignore it if it doesn't make sense. But you might have started some medication that, like for instance, for ADHD, maybe you used to be kind of like someone who liked to have fun sometimes and not be so focused on your work and your studying, because maybe you, and then maybe you have recently started medication for it, and now you're very focused, and now you're like very motivated and determined, and maybe some people feel like that's a bad evolution, like it's that it was better before when you weren't completely focused on performing all the time, that you could also relax and have some fun sometimes. But that's more specific for a few of you. So, but I think that's all I have for you, group number 3. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to book one. And yeah, have a great day, and bye.